There is a verse in Tehillim in chapter 18, verse 4. Mohul ekra Hashem u'n'oivai v'sheya. I praise Hashem and I am saved from my enemies. And Rashi explains, simple translation of the verse, that King David was praising Hashem while he was surrounded by his enemies. He was praising Hashem, thank you for saving me from my enemies, when he's in front of his enemies. This is a level of trust that King David had, and he was already thanking Hashem for the good news before it happened. In a similar way, this Farbrengen is really a Suseda, a Farbrengen of thanks to Hashem. The Rachmim is Alaycha, is gesund, and stark, and freilich, healthy and strong and happy, and they're already home. The truth is that simcha and happiness is very connected to tonight. Tonight is the anniversary of the wedding of the previous Rebbe, and at the wedding, the Rebbe Rashab gave a series of discourses entitled Samach to Samach. And Rebbe said that during this time period, we should study these discourses, which talk about the power of joy. The Chassidic masters say that where joy can bring you, no mitzvah can bring you. Joy, where simcha, where joy, the wedding of the previous Rebbe. Where simcha can bring you, no mitzvah can bring you. Simcha brings out the ability to go beyond nature, to go beyond your nature. There was a couple who asked the Rebbe about a certain issue they had in their family, an issue of health, and the Rebbe responded to them that they should make sure that they don't bring in their home any fruits from Shemitah fruit.
Any what?
Fruit from Shemitah. Oh. And the Rebbe said, for sure you made a mistake and you ate from the fruit of Shemitah. Betach shagu b'achil shvius. For sure you made a mistake and you ate from the fruit of Shemitah. So they wrote back to the Rebbe, well, what do you mean? All of our food that we have has a kosher sign on it. So we don't know what you mean. Which one of our fruits that we brought to our home isn't good? So the Rebbe responded, serve Hashem with joy. Joy breaks boundaries. It even breaks the boundary of shkiyas miyavin. Shkiyas miyavin means a human being, King David says, is bound to make mistakes. Just because you're human, you're going to make mistakes. But joy breaks the boundary of a human being having mistakes. And so if you'll be besimcha, be happy, automatically you won't make mistakes. So in this discourse, the Rebbe Rashab, he talks about people who are very stingy, very miserly, very stubborn, very cruel. And he says that when they're happy, when a person's happy, his deepest recesses of his heart, all of his goodness comes out. He gives an example about a wedding. He says even someone who's very miserly and stingy, when it comes to his own only child's wedding, he's such happiness and joy that the floodgates open. It doesn't matter what it is and how it is, he goes all the way without any limitations. And so too, he's saying about the power of simcha, power of joy, to bring out who we are. So in this discussion about bringing out who we are, there's a lot of ink that was spilled. Not just ink that was spilled, a lot of energy that's spilled, trying to figure out who we are. And what I'm talking about is, there are many different ways we could define ourselves. There are a lot of things that fill up our time. We fill up our time with trying to earn a living, fill up our time trying to take care of our families, and just fill up our time with things that we do, with things that we say. But the month of El was given in order that we should just not only do, but stop and ask who we are. A lot of people, instead of answering that question, they fill up the vacuum that question brings by getting more stuff. They try to satiate their need for identity of who they really are with more cars and more money and more homes, instead of really addressing who am I. A lot of people are like waiting for a certain moment to happen and say, at that moment, then I'll be me. They don't know what that moment is, but they feel like I'm not me yet, and something will have to happen for me to be me. So this is something we see in this week's Torah portion. Moshe Rabbeinu tells the Jewish people, Haskes Ushma Yisrael, hearken, listen, Jewish people, Hayom Hazeh, today you became a people. That's what Moshe said. So it's very interesting. Imagine the President of the United States comes around on CNN, on Fox News, on wherever it is, and he announces, "We have just become the American people." People would be insulted. We've just become the American people. What are you talking about? We had the War of Independence. We had so many accomplishments of America. How dare you say we just became Americans? And yet Moshe Rabbeinu is telling us, the Jewish people, after they were released from Egypt, and after they were wandering in the desert for 40 years, and after they got the Torah, and 40 years later, Moshe says, "Today you became a people." What happened on that day that they suddenly became a people? Everything they accomplished till that point, they didn't have the identity of the people. What does that mean? So we need to understand, because we find that already that Paro called us a people. Paro said the Jewish people, we have this issue, these Jewish people, they're multiplying, this people, we have to figure out what to do about them. Paro already addressed the Jewish nation. So what does Moshe Rabbeinu mean when he says, we've just become a nation? Already the Egyptians are calling us a nation. So, to understand what a nation is, let's first of all figure out who we are, what individual is. If we know what an individual is, then we'll know more who we are as a people. A lot of people go into a mirror, they put on certain clothing because they want to look a certain way. They feel that their identity is connected to their appearance in the eyes of others. And if I look this specific way, then I'll be valued by other people, and they'll know who I am. Sometimes you go to a doctor and you have an issue, an ailment. The doctor himself doesn't know your issue. And there's a lot of things that we have preferences, right? Some people like vanilla. I like chocolate. You like vanilla. Some people like ketchup. Some people like mustard. Some people, you're crazy. You're putting mustard on a hamburger. You're out of your mind. But actually, whatever. I believe in that very strongly. Mustard is for hamburgers. Anyways, but why is it that I prefer vanilla and you prefer chocolate? Why is it I prefer mustard, you prefer ketchup? Where does it come from? It wasn't something I decided to do, right? It's someone who's programming us, who's making us to be the way we are. So I want to share with you a very powerful teaching of Hashem Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar, but before that, teaching of Hillel. Hillel was known to be a very humble person. And Hillel said famously, if I am here, said Hillel, everybody's here. If I'm not here, nobody's here. What does that mean? He said that sounds like such ego. Ego is the source of all problems. What does Hillel mean? There's a kind of ego that you have such a strong ego, you're not even able to understand another person. Like this guy came to San Francisco to collect tzedakah. He knocks on the door, and his lady answers his door. And he says, please help me. I haven't eaten in 3 days. She's, wow, how did you do that? That's amazing. I wish I could do that. 3 days. Wow, amazing. So it's possible to not really, could be so entrenched in ourselves, we don't even hear the other person. So the Zohar, Hashem Bar Yochai says, what does Hillel mean when he says, if I am here, everything is here? Hillel meant I means the Shekhinah, the divine presence, the Neshama. The Neshama is our real identity. So Hashem made every person different. No one's hair is the same, no one's eyes are the same, no one's voice is the same, no one's appearance is the same, no one's mind is the same. And every person has infinite value. The Gemara says, the Rambam says, let's say you have a room full of murderers and thieves, and a terrorist comes. Terrorist says, I'm going to kill everybody in this room. There's a lot of good people in the room too. I'll kill everybody. Just give me one person. And he asks to kill someone who deserves a death penalty. He asks, give me just one murderer. Give me Sheva Ben Bichri. So the Gemara says, better that everyone gets killed, you don't give up one person. That's what Gemara says. You don't give up one person, better everyone gets killed. Why? Because the value of a person, of a Jew, is that a Jew is a part of Hashem. And so, that's what Hillel meant when he said, if I am here, then everything is here. You have your car, you have your computer, you have your job, you have your family, you have everything. But if I am here, the very first thing you have to know is, who am I? Who am I? If you don't know who am I, then all the things you have are meaningless. Dr. Rabbi...
He said, if I'm here...
Meaning if the Shekhinah is here. I am ani kan ha-kol kan.
Oh.
If I am here, everything's here.
If my godly soul is here, if my godly soul is present...
So the word ani means the Shekhinah. Why does it mean the Shekhinah? That's a good question. That's a different of the subject. But let's assume Hashem Yochai is correct for a second. If I means the Shekhinah. But I'll tell you why. Just briefly, Noam. Your deepest I is not your body. It's not your preference of chocolate. It's the part of Hashem that is in you. That's your deepest I. So we're able to go through life and just flow and just do, and years pass and days pass and months pass and we're busy trying to get stuff. And El is this time we're supposed to choose. Who do I really want to be? Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, he said the most momentous moment in his life.
Rabbi, sorry to interrupt. These Farbrengens are very important to bring out exactly what you're saying, because we're bombarded with so much, shtus outside the world. Thank you for this Farbrengen. Even if it wasn't for Repoy Shalema, thank you for doing these Farbrengens.
This advertisement was brought to you by the sponsor of Farbrengen, Rabbi Yosef Javdan. And so we raise our glasses to wish Rabbi Yosef Meshach Mendel, Vatzlocha Rab Muflogen, all your heart's desires for good to Tevanir Vanegla. There's another statement of Hillel which sounds, which
Jonathan Sachs.
Oh, Rabbi Jonathan, thank you for holding cup. Very good, yourself. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs said, there's a moment he asked a question that really changed his life. He asked the question, the deepest question. He said he remembers this moment he asked the question. His question was, who am I? If a child asks his father, who are you, Daddy? So the father could say, I'm the one who pays for your dinner, right? I'm the one who does this. I'm the one who does that for you. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. But when your child says, I'm not asking you to do that, but just who are you, right? Sometimes these simple questions force you to really answer something deeper. So what's the real answer? So Jonathan Sachs, Rabbi Dr. Jonathan Sachs said, he realized that who was he? It was a momentous moment that changed his life. He realized, I am a Jew. That is a real I of who I am. And this is the explanation of Hillel's other statement. Hillel said, if I'm not for me, then who is for me? And on the other hand, he said, if I am for me, then what am I? And then he said, if not now, when? What is he saying? On the one hand, he's saying you need other people, right? If it's just me, I can't do anything. On the other hand, he's saying my power is nothing. So I have to stand up for myself. If I don't stand up for myself, then no one will. And then he's saying, if I stand up for myself, what do I even have? And then he says, if not now, then when? In the 6 chapters of Ethics of Our Fathers, we're about to finish it in 2 weeks. I don't know how many times we did it this summer, 7, 8 times we did it. You'll notice in the whole Ethics of Our Fathers, there's no alarming statement like this. If not now, when? There are many powerful statements in Ethics of Our Fathers, like it says, greet everybody with a smile. It's a very important thing. A lot of important things, but he never tells us in the whole Ethics of Our Fathers, never says to us, stop, answer this question or else. He doesn't do that. Only in this statement of the Ethics of Our Fathers, when he says, if I am not for me, then who is for me? Only here does he say, if not now, when? The answer is this. Why was this question so critical? Hillel's question is, you have to first of all know who you are. First of all, the very first thing you have to know is who you are. Without knowing who you are, you can't really accomplish anything. I shared the story with you guys a few weeks ago.
No, but sorry to interrupt. Now, who you are is our neshama, is our godly soul, infinite power. I apologize. Is that...
Yes.
Did I say it correctly?
You said it correctly. Let's say it this way. We have a statement of the meaning of the month of El. El is an acronym for the words, I am to my beloved is to me. So, I means not sometimes how you feel, but the reality of who you are is that you're a precious to Hashem. There was this guy who went to Odessa to do circumcisions for people, and he went from Israel to Odessa, and someone who worked in the media heard about this guy going to Odessa to do circumcisions, and it was right after Perestroika, it was a new thing. He's very interested. He said, I want to go to Odessa too. You're going to do circumcisions, I'm coming with you. He goes to Odessa, and there's a whole line of people who want to get circumcisions. There's a line of people. There's a massive line of people. People are on the line. I want to be circumcised. So this guy, this news reporter, he goes on the line and he says, "Hey, he says, guy, how old are you, sir? I'm 60 years old. 6 years old. Wow, you must be very devout, very religious. You want to get a circumcision at this age?" He says, "No, I'm an atheist." You're an atheist. So why do you want to be circumcised? He says, "What do you mean?" Well, he answered like incredulously, "What are you even thinking? I'm Jewish. A Jew has to be circumcised." There is something about us that identifies 1,000,000% with with the Eibishter, with Torah mitzvahs. That's our true eye. Our true eye is the Shechina. We're infinitely precious to Hashem, as Baal Shem Tov said, that every Jew is precious to Hashem, like a child born to parents in their old age, even more precious. And so, that's who we are as individual. What makes us Jews, what makes us precious, is the fact that we have when we realize that our real eye. Still, make it a little clearer. There's a Jew named Jerry Levine. Jerry Levine had an opportunity to he was working as a news anchor for Miami television, and he was and he had the opportunity to work instead for Chabad's prison organization, which helped Jews in jail, Aleph. And he asked the Rebbe this question, and Rabbi Shalom Ber Lipsker calls him up. The Rebbe gave an answer. He comes to see Rabbi Lipsker. Rabbi Lipsker says to him, "The Rebbe wants to know your name." Your name? My name is Yosef Mordechai. As I said, what do you mean? What's my name? The Rebbe doesn't see the Rebbe apparently can't identify your soul. Can you please go to your mother and find out what your name is? He felt very ridiculous. He went to his mother, "Mom, what's my name?" "This is my name." I'm sorry. He's told his Rabbi Lipsker, "My name is Yosef." So he said to his mother, "Is my name Yosef?" His mother said, "No, your name is Yosef Mordechai." "You never told that to me, Mom. I never knew." So think about this. The Rebbe is answering this guy's question. He says, should I be a news anchor or should I work for Aleph? There's so many ways to answer that question. There's a reason why you should remain in the news. There's a reason why you should work for Aleph. But here, how does the Rebbe answer the question? Here is a Jewish man who does not know his name. The first thing we got to tell you is that you have to know who you are. And that's the meaning of Moshe Rabbeinu telling the Jewish people, Moshe says to the Jewish people, today you became a nation. What is a Jewish nation? The Jewish nation is a group of Jews, a group of souls. All of us are part of one major soul. What makes us a nation of Jews? What makes us Jewish? What makes us a people? Moshe said like this. If you look in Rashi, Rashi explains why we became a people that day. Moshe was from the tribe of Levi. Aren't Levim great people? Okay, hi. Anyways, Moshe was in the tribe of Levi. And Moshe decided to give a Torah to his tribe, the tribe of Levi. And all of the Jewish people are like, why are you giving a Torah to your tribe, not anybody else? We want the Torah too. Why should they get the Torah? And Moshe Rabbeinu was very happy. Moshe Rabbeinu was with the Jewish people and they're complaining for 40 years. We want this food. We don't like this. Why is this like this? And we're complaining for 40 years. Finally, we complain, and Moshe Rabbeinu was so happy. What are we complaining about? We want the Torah. What was Moshe said, today you became a people to Hashem. There is something that even in Egypt we're called a people. Hari calls us a people. There's a lot of people today that identify as Jews because of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism forces them. It's not because there was a group of women who left their husbands after October 7th, or their husbands were not Jewish. They left their husbands, and they many of them said it wasn't that our husband didn't sympathize with the Israelis. It wasn't that our husbands didn't understand that Hamas are terrorists. It's just that they said that they don't feel the same way that we feel. They don't feel like this is the same grief, the same identity of this is our people and this is a tragedy. They don't have that, and therefore they left their husbands. So let me say, I'm talking for too long, but let me just say one sentence. What was the last time that we did something and we felt our neshama what we did? Well, last time we did something and we felt this is my soul is what I'm doing. There is a lot of we're busy doing a lot of things. Moshe said, when do we become a people? When we complete. I want the Torah. Give me the Torah. So we all just daven Ma'ariv. I don't know about you. I daven Ma'ariv yesterday, daven Ma'ariv the day before, and I'm davening Ma'ariv for a couple of years now, and I do it every day. I say the words. I study Torah today. I study Torah. But do I ever ask myself, what did the Torah teach me? Do I ever say to myself, I want to talk to Hashem? It's a different thing. That's a niladai. That's my I. That's me. A lot of people come to shul and collect tzedakah, and I like to give them. But do I ever go out of my way and say, I want to give someone? No one's asking me. But I want to find someone I want to give tzedakah. We have an issue with with the way that we are, the pagan view of God that we've been used to hearing. Even people interpret words of our sages in a pagan way. There's a line in Ethics of Our Fathers, there's an eye that sees us, an ear that hears us, and everything's written in a book. People think that God's out to get us, he wants to find our mistakes. There's an eye that sees, there's an ear that hears, he wants to get. But think about parents of a child, they love the child so much. Whatever the child does, they're excited, look what my child did. There's an eye that just looks but sees who we are. There's an ear that hears us for who we are. The king is in the field. Ani l'doidi means that I've looked deep into myself, I discover that who am I? I have a connection to Hashem. Look deep into myself, I discover that even deeper that my beloved is to me. This is what the month of El is meant to give us, this absolute clarity of who our real I is. So if we look deeper into ourselves, look deeper and we'll discover that our deepest self is that we're Yidden. And look at our people, we'll discover that we're all part of one puzzle. We're all here. If you know that you're Jewish, you know you're on a mission to illuminate the world and bring Mashiach. And all of us were part of this puzzle to make that happen. L'chaim, l'chaim. We should be besimcha. The only way to bring it out in yourself is besimcha. Should be besimcha Rabba. And with the simcha can bring out who we are and what we are. L'chaim, l'chaim, Rabba.
The simcha, is it connected to the fact that you said that our real self is our godly self, which is infinite? So is that the source of our simcha, or are the points connected?
Absolutely connected. Absolutely connected. Realizing how precious you are in the eyes of Hashem should make you besimcha.
Wait, we need to hear that more often.
Yeah, say it again. Let's sing it again.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying, Yosef? Instead of being angry at your child because your child did something wrong, ask yourself, what did I do for my child? What can I help? How can I make their life easier? No, it's a paradigm shift of stopping to think about our ego and thinking about our divine calling. What's our mission here? You know, that's where Hashem's asking us. A Jew is a diamond. The Jew is precious to Hashem. Every Jew is precious. The month of El is the time we're supposed to take off the dust, polish it, and realize ani l'deidi, that my deepest self is the deidi.
Thank you. Thanks to the leader of the generation who has the shlichut